I'm Barbara Baker-Omrod. I'm the president of Owosso Rotary, and I've been president since 2020, and I will continue until the end of the Rotary year in June of 2021. Owosso Rotary decided that we wanted to participate in a day of service and work with our community towards being more inclusive with diversity and equity. So we are doing this discussion with our some of our members and some of the community members about what it is to us that Martin Luther King Jr. helped us understand where we want to go in the future and how that relates to Owosso and our surrounding communities. Because Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an advocate for social justice and for equity in socioeconomic and racial and every other way that you can imagine. He was an inspiration to so many people of every background, and Rotary is like that as well. Rotary wants to have a more diverse organization. They're working towards that. Rotary has worked around the globe trying to help people in different communities and to advance and become more self-sufficient, be more safe, be everything that they can be. But we need to do that in our own clubs and in our own communities as well. So we've decided that this is what we're working on, and we've been working on it for most of the year. And we're going to continue to do that. So when we're inviting our community members to participate with us, come to our meetings. Every first Wednesday of the month, we're going to have more speakers on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And look at what we can do to make our community more diverse, to be more welcoming, to have everything just the same way as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted the future to be. So when Dr. King said that he wished that his children would someday live in a country that they would be judged only on the content of their character, I think that's something that everybody should strive to do, is to only look at people's character, not how much money they have, not what they do for a living, not where they live, not the color of their skin by any means, that we look at the soul of the person we're talking to and do anything we can to make everybody able to prosper in our economy and within our community.
Service.
Courage.
On August 28, 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave the I Have a Dream speech in Washington, D.C., a speech for equality and freedom, one of the defining moments of the civil rights movement and one of the most iconic speeches in American history. I remember driving down the unfamiliar country roads, my body overwhelmed with anxiety. I could feel the racing beats of my heart. Thoughts of rejection overpowered the pain from my nails piercing the palms of my hands as I gripped my steering wheel. As an African-American woman, would I be accepted, I wondered, as I passed no one who looked like me? Would I be turned away? Will anyone even speak to me? Feelings and questions no one should ever have to ask. That day I speak of was my drive into Owosso for the first time. My name is Rachel. I am the Marketing and Public Relations Manager at Pleasant View. I have been a part of the Owosso community for 5 years. It hasn't always been the best, but the good outweighs the bad, and the great outweighs them both. In short, Owosso is family, my family. Today, I share the dream and vision of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a dream that this nation will rise up and live out the meaning of its creed, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, and most of all, that all men be created and treated as equal. Thank you.
Peace.
Justice.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Klapko with the Shiawassee Regional Chamber of Commerce.
Hi, everybody. Justin Horvath of the Shiawassee Economic Development Partnership.
We're here today to speak on a welcoming and inclusive community. We want to talk just a little bit about how that impacts our community and how it impacts our organizations.
Yeah, we really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about this. Both myself and Greg represent business organizations that are working to help support the local economy, to grow our area, and creating a community that is welcome and diverse and equitable is very, very critical to being able to achieve that.
Exactly, and the Shiawassee Regional Chamber of Commerce, it really supports our mission to build an extraordinary Shiawassee region. Without diversity, equity, inclusiveness, we could not achieve that mission of ours. And we know that if we are going to have a welcoming, inclusive community, it really takes everyone to have that effort, recognize that we do need diversity, we do need equity, we do need inclusiveness.
We need to be able to try to attract people to want to move to our community. We certainly want people to live here, to stay in our community, and having that environment where people feel comfortable, they feel safe, to be able to express themselves, I think is really, really important. And that would be very helpful for us as we try to attract more opportunity to this area, to making sure Shiawassee County is known for that.
When we look at diversity, we know that diverse groups of people, diverse opinions, it only makes us stronger. Whether you're building a small team, it's your own organization or the community as a whole. Diversity is definitely a strength, and we certainly want to see that enhanced in the Shiawassee County region. So the more diverse that is, the stronger we will be. And also, Justin and I would like to see, it equitable, so that it's a clear playing field, a level playing field for all individuals, organizations. So that equity is an important element, to be a welcoming and inclusive community. And if we're going to build that type of environment, we've got to have the structure in place, to build the growth that we want to see here in Shiawassee County.
Absolutely, and I think we're off to a great start. We have lots of great businesses, lots of great nonprofits, very supportive local governments, all wanting to work together and collaborate to make that happen. So we absolutely have the foundation here to be able to achieve that, and I think by working together, we can definitely make it happen.
As this is part of Dr. Martin Luther King Day, I think of Dr. King, I think of community service like so many other people do. And we have so many opportunities and such a great need here in Shiawassee County. So when we think of that day, if I could really promote that being a community service type day or event, we want to make it year long, but if this is a way that we can highlight those opportunities, because we certainly have a number of those and a great need here in Shiawassee County.
Absolutely. For me, for what Dr. King represented and what he said, we're all in this together. We need to collaborate. We need to realize everyone is equal. We're all facing challenges right now, obviously, with the pandemic. And the way we solve this is by uniting, by coming together, by being inclusive. So, as I mentioned, I think we're doing a lot of that great work now, but I think highlighting on this day of any day that how important it is and how much more we need to continue our efforts to strengthen that and become even more diverse and inclusive and equitable, I think is very, very important.
And that really concludes our remarks. We appreciate the opportunity to speak and know that we're there for you. We support your efforts and all to make this a better community for all of us.
I'll just echo Greg's sentiments. Thank you for the opportunity.
Social resistance.
When researching Martin Luther King Jr., there's a dazzling array of uplifting adjectives, varying on the source, from kind and accepting to inclusive and genuine. But his position as leader is a constant descriptor. I've always been fascinated by how one name can become such a figurehead of a movement. As I've searched for what was different, I realized that Martin Luther King Jr. equated leadership with love. He didn't care who was who on the social totem pole or what color of skin a person had, but instead judged them by their hearts. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in the power of words and action, but more importantly, he believed in the power of love and in the importance of equality for all. And he used this love to craft his words, and he used the power of words to inspire action. But this division is vital. Not only words, not only action. A leader guides with words, communicates, debates, compromises, collaborates with words. But a leader truly speaks with action. It's easy to be intimidated by this idea of action. We often paint it as a huge task, impossible to live up to our loved ones' expectations and our own expectations. But Martin Luther King Jr.'s leadership teaches that action can be small. It can be sitting down and not getting up from a bus seat. It can be sitting at a lunch counter and not getting up. It can be kneeling in prayer at a bridge. But when leaders base these actions in love, in passion, in inclusion, these actions have power and they spread. And this can be present in any part of life, although less drastic, just by opening the door, paying it forward at a drive-thru, even a simple smile. But no matter the context, small actions lead to big statements. Martin Luther King Jr. knew this, and he used it to fuel his leadership and the movement for equality that our country so desperately needed, and continues to need today. When one person completes these actions, it's admirable. When a community follows, it can move mountains. In Owosso, Martin Luther King Jr. Day emphasizes the importance of community. Owosso teaches the importance of tight-knit communities, and I've personally seen this value reflected in the development of my own and my peers' leadership styles. We often focus on making community through games, breaks, and other bonding activities. And just as Owosso imparts a strong sense of community, Martin Luther King Jr. Day teaches the importance of communities when they work together as a close-knit group passionate about an issue. During the civil rights movement, participants had diverse economic, social, and cultural backgrounds, but they came together for a shared passion, a clear area of need for equality. Owosso has diversity in economic, social, and family backgrounds, and we have a lot of passion, which allows us to share ideas. We know our community has a lot of work to do for equality, but our small community provides us the perfect opportunity to encourage more conversations about the things we need to change. And Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy pushes us to follow through. So, to me, Martin Luther King Jr. Day means love. It means leadership. It means that true leadership is love. It is the undeniable, indestructible belief that together we can do more and be better. That the love of togetherness and belief in the goodness of others causes the power of a group, a power that can change society if we remember it is always there.
Every person.
Hi, I'm Laura Archer, CEO of the Shiawassee Family YMCA in Owosso, Michigan. I'm also a member of the Owosso Rotary Club. Today, on MLK Day, we're thinking about a day of service. We're thinking about the legacy that Dr. Martin Luther King has left for all of us to live. Rotary International is a global network that strives to build a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change. Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contribution of people of all backgrounds. The Owosso Rotary Club lives this. The YMCA partners with the Greater Lansing Food Bank, part of the Feeding America network, to distribute food to those in our community in support of the amazing work of Hunger Network, housed at Catholic Charities. Hunger Network consists of over a dozen food pantries spread throughout the entire Shiawassee County region. As amazing as the work of Hunger Network and our local school districts who feed kids every day is, the pandemic has intensified food insecurities. Food insecurity means that a family doesn't have the means to keep food in their home. Feeding America, the second largest U.S. charity, has a nationwide network of over 200 food banks that were feeding more than 45 million people pre-pandemic. Feeding America estimates that over 15 million more people will be living in food insecure homes this year. We see this in our county. As the pandemic held us in its grip, communities like ours noticed that individuals were having greater need in terms of food insecurity. We watched trends nationwide and saw lines of cars miles and miles long. Again, Feeding America shared their analysis and predicts that 4 out of 10 individuals seeking food assistance may be seeking food assistance for the very first time. This is not something unique to Owosso or to the Shiawassee County region, but you need to remember too that we are no different than any other area. Today, MLK Day 2021, Owosso Rotary spent the day in service helping distribute food to over 300 families in our community. Since June, Owosso Rotary has helped the YMCA distribute nearly 125,000 pounds of food, which is over 100,000 meals to those experiencing food insecurity. Those who participate are our neighbors, our friends, and our family members. One of the things that we become aware of when we serve others is that not everybody is just like us. But one of the consistent things that we've seen, no matter where in our community individuals are coming to a mobile food pantry, is the gratitude with which they receive the food. One of the most depressing and sad experiences we Rotarians have felt since this pandemic began is literally giving out all the tons of food that we have and knowing we have more cars in line. But what do? We rally together, we raise the funds, we gather the volunteers, and we have another mobile food pantry, and that's what happened in December here in our community. Rotary is all about service above self. It's a Rotary way of life. It's the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. So on today, as we celebrate that legacy, let's think about giving of our time, our talent, and our treasure. We need to give where we live. We need to share what we have. And together, we're a stronger community.
Equality.
Community.
Well, today we're celebrating Martin Luther King Day, and as we all know, Martin Luther King had a dream. He had a dream for our country. He had a dream for people to love each other, to respect each other, to include each other, to lift each other up. And that's what we've been talking about today. I have a dream too. I have a dream for my city, the city that I love, the city of Owosso. It's a small town and we all love it, and we all believe that it's a good place to be. But many of us don't know that there are people here who aren't like us. From whatever socioeconomic background we're from, we sort of tend to believe that everybody here is like that. Whatever color our skin is, we tend to believe that everybody here is like us. And so on this Martin Luther King Day, I would just like to challenge us and challenge myself to think about getting to know somebody who is other than me, someone who is different than me, maybe somebody who voted differently, maybe somebody who is from a different socioeconomic background. We all like to think of ways to serve, and often when we serve, we think of ourselves as the helper and the teacher, but maybe we could find ways to serve where we could be the learner, where we could be learning about other people's experiences. What is it like to live in poverty in Shiawassee County? What is it like to be a person of color in Shiawassee County? What is it like to be a person who didn't vote for the majority in Shiawassee County? To go for a walk, sit down and have a cup of coffee, to learn from somebody else what their experience is like. That will help to bring our community together. So I have a dream for the city of Owosso, where everyone knows and loves their neighbors and is willing to listen to them and to learn from them.
Of all the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?